Now we'll see about law of successive disintegration. What is successive disintegration? We have successive disintegration and parallel disintegration. What is the difference between parallel and successive disintegration? You see that suppose if you take parallel disintegration, material A is simultaneously converted into nuclei B, nuclei C, nuclei D, like that different independent paths. The nuclei of A are converted into B nuclei, C nuclei and D nuclei. This what you call parallel disintegration. So here and this material and with a high speed, that is immediately it will be converted into different materials. There we discuss what is activity. Activity is A1 plus A2 plus A3. Three different independent paths is there means. And this disintegration constant is lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus lambda 3. And what is the time period of half-life? That is the time half-life period. 1 by T is equal to half-life of B conversion, that is B material A to B, plus half-life of B, nothing but you can take T1, and T2 1 by T3, like this we can apply. This already we discussed in parallel disintegration concept. What is successive disintegration? Successive disintegration means here what happened, A is converted into B and B converted into C, one after other. This is what we call successive disintegration. Then in this case what happened, A number of, suppose initial number of nucleons in A is N0, you can think, and then what happened, these are converted into here B material. So after some time what happened, this number of nuclei decreases. Then you can take number of nuclei in A is now N1, less than this N0, and initially actually there is no nuclei in B and C. So at the T equal to 0, number of nuclei of A is N0 and B is 0 and C is 0. But what about after some time? After some time and A become N1 and this some number of nuclei increases and this also some number of nuclei increases. Why C number of nuclei increases means, you see this is a simultaneous process. A nuclei from A to B converted, simultaneously B is converted into C. So A is parent and B is daughter means, and C is subdaughter nucleus. From B we are getting. That means conversion from A to B increases number of B particle, number of B nucleus. Conversion from B to C decreases number of B nucleus. Example we will see. For example, you can take there is a vessel with a small hole at the bottom. That is vessel A. That is type of material. You can take A material with another tub is there, and this is a B tub, and this is you can take C. Initially A has water, A tub having liquid that is leaked outside and fall into B. Actually initially here number of nucleus or number of nucleus here N0 you can think, liquid you can consider like a number of nuclei, and this leaked outside. Then what happened here, number decreases. Here what happened, number increases. Here number increases. So here number is N2 we can take. After leaking here number of nuclei is N1. And this also simultaneously, whenever this liquid enter here and here to here, liquid also start leaking into C also. So then what happened here, number or height of the liquid also increases. That you can take it as N3. So here what happened, if the liquid leaking from A to B is more, flowing from A to B is more when compared to B to C, then what happened, this liquid height start increasing because this is more and the leaking is less. So initially that happened. Why? Because this high liquid is there and very fast with high velocity this liquid added to B, so liquid level increases. Here very low level is there, that's why leaking speed also very less. And but suppose after some time what happened, if this B liquid leaks more faster because of on increasing level, what happened, this increases more faster and faster when compared to this amount of liquid flowing from B to C is more, and amount of flowing from A to B, then what happens? This liquid level decreases down. Suppose you can take as a particular case, what happened? The amount of the liquid enter from A to B is exactly equal to from B to C. Then what happened? The height of the liquid or amount of the liquid inside B is constant. This case what you call equilibrium condition. What is equilibrium condition? How much liquid enters, the same liquid leaves here. Similarly here also, what is equilibrium condition means? And some nuclei are converted from A to B, and same number of nuclei are converting from B to C. Then what happens? The number of B2 nuclei is constant. That is the equilibrium condition for only B. Why? Because A continuously start decreasing and C continuously start increasing. Suppose here you see for C tank there is no hole, then what happens? Completely this total liquid, even it take more time, but after finally what happens? This total elements are converted into C. Suppose this also having hole and convert into going into D tank, then what happens? That liquid goes to D. This process continues. So here also what happened? Finally all the nuclei of A and B are converted into C. So in the process what happened? A converted to B, B converted to C. Now here important what happened to nuclei of B, that we are going to discuss now. Law of successive disintegration. What is the number of nuclei initially? T is equal to 0. A has n naught and B is having 0 nuclei, 0 nuclei, like that. And after certain time t, this number become n1, this number become n2, this number become n3. Actually this process is going on like this. Suppose you can take C is a stable nucleus. When A is unstable, because of that only A converted B, and B also unstable, that converted into C. If C is stable, there is no further conversion. So here example they gave that uranium 92-238 by absorbing it will be converted into thorium 90-234, and that will be converted into protactinium and Pa 91-234. So like this radioactive series is there. Radioactive material converted like this, just like A, B, C. So here example you can take a particular situation. T is equal to 0, number of nuclei of A is there n0, and there is no nuclei in B and C. Now after some time what happened? Number of nuclei in A decreases, now n0 decreases, some are converted to B, so n1, and initially 0, but now some are converting from A, which are coming from A, that is n2. And simultaneously whenever number of nuclei B increases, immediately that will be decays into C. So this also has some nuclei number. Now we'll see how number of nuclei build up in B material. So that we'll see here the rate of decay of A, how many number of nuclei are converting from A to B, that is dn1 by dt at any instant. That's why dn by dt, that what you call activity. So activity is lambda n, that is lambda 1 n1, because that is for first material, that is material or nuclei A, it has a disintegration constant lambda 1 you can assume, and number of nuclei at any instant is n1. Similarly, how many are converted from B to C? How many number of nuclei within 1 second converted from B to C, that is lambda 2 n2. Now here is a question. This many are converted from A to B and this many are converted from B to C. How many number of nuclei are accumulated inside in B case, B nuclei? How many number of nuclei accumulated and increases? Rate of increase of number of nuclei of B is. So dn2 by dt is here lambda 1 n1 minus lambda 2 n2. How many are converted from A to B? This from B to C. Remaining difference what you get? How many number of nuclei are accumulated inside B? So from this, what is n1? N1 nothing but number of nuclei remains in the first material A. So number of nuclei after some time, and what is the formula for number of nuclei remains? N0 into e power minus lambda 1t. It's a law of radioactivity case we get this. So that you can substitute in place of n1. And now send this lambda to n to that side. What do you get? dn2 by dt plus lambda to n2 is equal to lambda 1 n naught e power minus lambda 1 t. Now multiply both sides with e power lambda 2t. So e power lambda 2t dn2 by dt and lambda to n2 into e power lambda 2t, and this are also same thing, and we multiply with lambda 1 n naught e power minus lambda 1 t multiply with e power lambda 2t. Both sides we are multiplying with this. Now this is the equation which is just like and the UV method, differentiation UV method is there. For differentiation UV method, so u they write outside and apply differentiation for v. Then they write v outside, apply differentiation for u. So v dv by dx plus v du by dx. So similarly here what you can write, reverse is there. This is like a UV method, this formula, and this is like this one. You see that you can take this is u and this is v. So u write outside like this, u write outside, apply differentiation for only n2. So that's why dn2 by dt. Next, and v write outside, that is n2 outside. Here you can write n2 outside and apply differentiation for e power lambda 2t dt. E power lambda 2 dt, what do you get? Same only we get e power lambda 2t we get, and again for lambda 2t apply differentiation and multiply with that. Lambda 2t differentiation is lambda 2, that you multiply here. So e power ax differentiation d by dx of e power ax is there, then what you get? E power ax only we get, and again differentiate this, that you get a, multiply with the a. Similarly what you get? E power lambda 2t differentiation is this only, that you can write here, and for this what you get? Lambda 2, that you multiply here. So for this this is a UV method, so we are writing reverse. Actually UV method, that we can write like this. Now what we are doing, this we are writing like this, and this is what happened, and lambda 1 n naught e power minus lambda 1 plus lambda 2. So base are equal, so we can add powers. So lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t we get. And integrating both sides. And integrating here, differentiation is there, and integrating what happened? Integration differentiation get cancelled and you get the same equation here. But here integrating, you have to apply integration, and lambda 1 n naught is constant, you can write outside. For e power anything is there, you get same only. E power ax is there, e power ax. Again for ax you have to do differentiation, and that you get a, multiply with that. Similarly here e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t, applied integration, you get a integration, same you only get. Again for this part, that power, apply differentiation, write denominator, because in integration what happen, you have to write in denominator. So you see, for example, integral e power x dx is there, then what you can write? E power ax only. For ax you have to differentiate and write denominator. There in differentiation what happen, you should multiply with that. Here you should divide with differentiation of that power. So that what you get, lambda 2 minus lambda 1, differentiation of this part is lambda 2 minus lambda 1. Whenever we did integration, we should get a constant, integration constant. Here I took as k. Suppose to calculate k value, we should take some condition. At t equal to 0, what is the number of nuclei in B material? That is 0. So n2 is equal to 0. Number of nuclei of B material initially is 0. And this value we can substitute in k equation, that is a second equation. From this becomes 0, and here you see, and this total also, here you see t equal to 0, e power 0 you get 1, and from this we get k value minus lambda 1 n naught by lambda 2 minus lambda 1. This is not lambda naught, that is lambda 1. We get this equation, we are going to substitute in. So n2 e power lambda 2 t and lambda 1 n naught lambda 2 minus lambda 1 n naught by lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into e power lambda 2 minus lambda 1 into t minus k is there, plus k there, but k value, this value get minus of this, and this you see lambda 1 n naught lambda 2 minus lambda 1 here also there, take common, we get like this. So to calculate n2 value, so this all derivation we did for how many number of nuclei are accumulated in B material. So for that you can calculate n2. What is n2? Number of nuclei present at any time t in as a B material, B nuclei. So this many number of nuclei present at any instant. So some cases we can see, suppose if and the nuclei of A is having longer life than B. So A has a longer life than B, means half-life is of A is much more when compared to B. Then what you get, you know, half-life is more and lambda is less, disintegration constant is less. For lambda 1 is less than lambda 2. Put lambda 1 0 in this equation and this become 1. Why? Because e power 0 you get 1 minus e power lambda 2 t, and here put 0. Don't put here lambda 1 0, then it become total 0 only. So only these two cases take lambda 1 0 here. Then number of, suppose if any the property of a nuclei is there and A has a longer life, means slowly it is converting, and B converts faster, then number of nuclei at an instant, we get this formula. Actually this is the formula for without any approximation, this is approximate formula. Suppose if they want number of nuclei, in the same case if the number of nuclei is between half-life of A and half-life of B, we know that half-life of A is more and half-life of B is less. So longer than half-life of B and shorter than half-life of A. Then they took a time, suppose if half-life of A is 1 year and half-life of B is suppose half year, and they took in between 1 year to half year, they took some time like that. So if you take time in between half-life of A and half-life of B, then we can write here that lambda 2, why? Because you see lambda 2 here much greater. Lambda 2 is a high value. Lambda 2 high value means what you can write here in place of lambda 2, here you see lambda 2 we can take infinite, e power infinite, that is minus is there, 1 by e power infinite means this becomes 0. That's why no need to take this. And what about this n naught e power minus lambda 1 t is equal to n1 only, so that we can write as n1. In this equation what you are taking, lambda 2 much greater, so this becomes 0 because 1 by e power infinity get, and n naught into e power minus lambda 1 t is n1 only. In the first equation we have here, you see here n1 is equal to n naught e power minus lambda 1 t. From this we can write in place of n naught into this, we can write as n1 here, n1 we can write. So from this n2 lambda 2 is equal to n1 lambda 1. From this what you can conclude, so how many number of nuclei converted from A to B, n1 lambda 1 is equal to number of nuclei converted from B to C. That means the material B material is in equilibrium condition, because how many are nuclei coming into that, so how much liquid is flowing from A to B, same liquid is flowing from B to C, that is equilibrium condition. So here at this condition the number of nuclei in B is maximum. Suppose for example if you take graphs of A, B, C and material, ABC materials, you see A continuously converted into B, so that's why it follows the formula n1 is equal to number of nuclei after some time is n naught into e power minus lambda 1 t, that decreases, of course it never becomes 0. And then what happened, B initially 0, but what happened when it fall down, that number increases. Suppose if this condition follows, what happened, number of nuclei become maximum, B number of nuclei become maximum, here it become maximum. Then what happened after crossing this, number of nuclei converted from A to B decreases and number of nuclei converted from B to C increases. Due to that what happened, number of nuclei of C increases, B decreases. That is the reason at this condition we can say B is an equilibrium condition or maximum number of nuclei of B is there. Suppose in this process, if the C is a non-stable nuclei, then what happens? C convert into D and D convert into E. Then what happens? This graph of C, you see, graph of the C here continuously increase and it become constant. Finally what happen? All the material convert into C. Suppose if C also unstable, then that convert into D, then C also fall down. Somewhere here D rises. So A, B and C, and B increases and decreases, and A continuously decreases, C continuously increases if it is a stable nucleus means. If this also unstable, what happen? Like B, it increases and fall down. This also increases and fall down. Okay, that is about law of successive disintegration.